Sinan Antun, can you talk about the growth of Darwish's work and its effect inside and outside the Arab world? He was also extremely accomplished in Hebrew.
Yes, well, as I said before, I mean, he started out within what we call the poetry of resistance inside, when, of course, Palestinians, their movement was confined and their identity was being erased. If we all remember how Golda Meir said notoriously, there are no Palestinians. So Mahmoud Darwish's response was, I am an Arab, or register I am an Arab and I exist. And he also, his own life in a way encapsulates the Palestinian tragedy in terms of confinement, in terms of having his village destroyed and then of being continuously displaced. But by the time he left to the Soviet Union and then to Cairo, he had already been very famous. But then he also accompanied the Palestinian saga through Beirut and then the exodus from Beirut. And there are many of the poets of resistance who were famous at the time but kept on writing in the same vein. But Mahmoud is the one who really changed and evolved. And an important factor here is that he was a voracious reader and he was really open to all of the world traditions. I mean, he himself says always that every poet contains thousands of poets within him. So he contains multitudes because he really mastered the Arabic tradition, but he was a voracious reader, open to all world traditions. And you can see through his poetry that he tried to weave in the Palestinian saga into other tragedies of native peoples, including the Native Americans here. Perhaps one could say that if even Ariel Sharon had to admit that he loved and admired Mahmoud Darwish's poetry, that really says something. Because if poetry can pierce Sharon's heart, then that is really some powerful poetry. But I want to add that he is also a really great prose writer, and one of the greatest prose writers we have in his famous Memory of Forgetfulness, the journal about the Beirut siege. But also recently he wrote an unbelievable prose work called In the Presence of Absence, and kind of anchored. So while a great poet, at the same time he is really a great essayist.
Mahmoud Darwish appeared in the 2004 film by the acclaimed French director Jean-Luc Godard called Notre Musique. This is an excerpt of Darwish's conversation with an Israeli journalist.